Alrighty, the session is recording, so let's start the commentary. I've got 4 tables going right now. In the top left one, and I've been at the table for about 5 orbits on all these 4 tables, just trying them out. On table 1, I'm folding a 3-6 offsuit in middle position, just not a good enough hand. Table number 3, 7-9 offsuit in the small blind. I'm not going to play it. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking at my tables and kind of assessing which one do I actually want to do the rest of this recording on. So I'm just going to look and find the best table. So let's take a look here. Table 1 I think is going to be it, as I've been looking at the tables so far. On table 1 to my direct left, I'm folding an 8-7 offsuit under the gun. So table 1, my direct left, got a fish, got a tight passive player, got a donk over there, got a big time fish, and another fish. So this table has 4 fish and a loose aggressive player, but he's on my exact opposite of the table. This is 6 max, and then so I have position on him half the time, he has position on me the other half of the time. Table number 2, if we look starting with the first person to my left, I got a lag, I got a tight aggressive player, got another tight aggressive and another lag, so lots of lags and tight aggressives here. I am just going to leave this table right now. Table 2 is done. On table number 3, you can hear the timer counting down. I have Jack 3 offsuit. Going to fold that versus 2 limbs. I'm just not going to come in. Table number 4, Ace 10 offsuit on the button. I do have 2 lags in the small blind and big blind. They don't fold that often, but Ace 10 offsuit is better than a lot of the hands that these guys will continue with. But unfortunately, I got 3-bet by a guy who 3-bets a whole lot. He 3-bets 12% here and quite a lot out of the small blind, actually. So let's go ahead and pump it up. We have the ace blocker. Pump up to $8 is a 4-bet bluff on the guy. We shall see if he folds. He's a 26-24 player, so he's very loose aggressive. 3-bets to 12%, and he folded, so he took that pot down right there. But on this table 4, got a lag to my left, lag again, a tag, and then getting to be a lag right there. This is just a super ugly table. I am going to sit out on the big blind when this one comes around. Table 1, Queen 10 offsuit versus a raise and a call, or Queen Deuce offsuit, I'm sorry. I am not going to 3-bet squeeze there. We'll find a better opportunity with a better hand, maybe some kind of a blocker, or of course a value hand to take that one on in the small blind. And on table 3, I got an unknown to my direct left. I've got a loose aggressive, a tight aggressive, another loose aggressive, and I am going to fold the deuces right here because I'm concentrating on the players at these other tables. No, I am going to open. Deuces is always an open in middle position for me. So on the table number 4, where I have a lot of loose aggressive players, pocket deuces, I'm throwing the open. This is the one where I just 4-bet rebluffed a guy. My open is out there. A lag in the on the button is thinking about it. He folded. Got the small blind and the big blind to contend with. Pocket deuces. Hopefully I get a call and flop a duck. Or, next best thing, is they all fold. Now, the flop comes after 81 hands. This guy folds the C-bets 0% of the time. He's pretty tight aggressive overall on a King 8-9 two-tone board. He's taking his time, not checking yet. I have position on him. So he decided to just check, and he took his time doing so. Maybe he has some kind of draw, maybe he has a weak pair. I am going to throw out the 2/3 pot C-bet. I really only have 81 hands on the guy, 0 folding to C-bet, but that's only after, whoops. I don't know anything, it's just after one instance, 0 folding to C-bet. Now, the pot's at 344. He could have called with a couple of hearts. Oh, a king came on the turn, so the board is King, King, 8-9, double diamond, double heart on the board. I don't know anything about him. I'm not going to throw I generally don't throw out double barrels against players that I just don't know if they're fold. I'll always put out that first barrel just because, you got to throw one. You got to start accumulating stacks on a guy. So I am going to check behind with my pocket deuces on the King, King, 8-9 board. Now the 10 comes, completes some draws, gives him a pair of 10s if he had 10 jack for the open ender on the flop. He decides to throw out a half pot C-bet. My guess is he had the king the entire way. I don't have squat. I'm not going to try to bluff him here. I am just folding against his half-pot bet on the King, King, 10-8-9 board with my double ducks, or pair of ducks. Queen 7 under the gun on table 1. I like the table, don't like the hand. I'm going to ditch it. 7-8 under the gun on the laggy table 4, and I'm going to leave now. Oh, and so if you're watching my screen right now on YouTube, you can see that I have my cash pre-flop ranges open on the screen in front of me. So this is what I refer to whenever I need to help me out with my opening ranges and 3-bet ranges right here. On this table number 2, a total lag opened under the gun, but I have 9-5 off in the small blind. Gonna fold it right there. Not going to fight against the guy with such a crappy hand and knowing I'm gonna be out of position. So I'm not gonna call. Flop comes down ace-7 queen. The, so far, relatively passive guy called in the big blind. So he checked out of position versus the under the gun raiser or pre-flop opener. Okay, so on this table, table 1, I've got the Jack-7 suited facing a tight aggressive players open and a call from the small blind. I've got Jack-7, only cost me 50 cents to win 225 total, so I'm definitely going to make that call. And I flop squad douche, ace-5-9 rainbow. Backdoor straight draws, but that's about it, you know. So I am just going to check and give up. If I catch a 6 or an 8 for a straight draw, that would have been okay, but I'm not going to pay anything. So I folded to the 1/3 pot bet. Now this player right now that just opened for 1/3 pot, donk led for 1/3 pot. His name is Stone, and he's a 40-18 player, so he's very loose passive. And so far, 2 times I've seen him bet a small amount and fold to a raise. Shakedown, the tight aggressive player just gave him the raise in position and took it down from him. So that's 3 times now where Stone, loose passive player, donk led or bet for a small amount and then folded. Now, he likes to bet fold. I have pocket aces in the small blind versus his button open against me. This guy is going to call in the big blind because he's so loose passive. I've got to just raise it 3x. I don't want him to fold. I want Stone to continue with position on me because, you know, I've got pocket aces, of course. I am going to lead out for 2/3 pot bet on the 4-3 jack board. 4-3 jack 2-tone board. I don't have a redraw to a flush. I just hit trip aces, so a set of aces. Now, he could have deuce 5, I guess. I'm going to bet half pot now. Last time I bet 2/3 pot, this time half pot because I want value from the guy. I'm actually going to lower it a little bit to $3 into a $7 pot. My hope is that he raises, he has ace queen, he has ace 4 for 2 pair, something like that, against my set of aces. So I'm hoping he has something worth calling. And he raised me. So does he have deuce 5? Did he open and then call my raise with deuce 5? He is passive enough to hit his deuce 5 for a straight, but highly doubtful that that's the case. So I'm going to pump it up for value. I'm thinking he has an ace-7 and an ace-8 or an ace-8, something like that, where he has top pair weak kicker, because he did just call my 3-bet. Ace-king, possibly ace-queen would have 4-bet, but he's so loose passive, probably not. So he did raise my c-bet. It was a min raise. Come on, buddy, call. Yes! You called. Ooh, well, 3, 4, the diamond hit. He could have raised with the diamond draw. 7 of diamonds hit. I just have 3 of a kind aces. I am going to check, and I'm going to call right here with my set of aces. So he could have made that play with a flush draw the entire way, which I hope not, at least. But this guy is so passive, I really don't think he'll shove on the flop, on the river, with anything other than, he only bet 620. Is that some kind of a weird, he wants me to fold? And, you know, I'm going to call this here because the pot was so big, he only bet 1/4 pot. If he has a flush, I mean, 5-6, I guess, could have caught a straight as well. But, you know, if my pocket aces are beat here, they're beat, so I'm going to call. Hopefully he doesn't have the flush, but... Oh, good. He had king 10. Ha! He had king 10 for a turned gutter. He raised the turn gut shot on me. So that's interesting. This guy overall, he's a 43-19, pretty passive. No 3-bets yet, but he decided to get a little bit active with some bluffy stuff post-flop. That's pretty interesting. So I'm going to have to, in position, bluffy stuff post-flop. Let me make a note on this. In position, bluffy post-flop on scary turn ace. Alrighty. And so, like I said in the intro for this video, this is commentary on my game for the podcast. I'm hoping that a lot of stuff that a lot of the stuff that I talk about will be beneficial for the listeners. This is probably a better podcast for those watching. So if you are listening and want to get the visual, go to smartpokerstudy.com/YT119, and that's for YouTube 119. King 7 off, I'm going to fold this table. And actually, you know, I'm just going to leave this table, table number 2. even though I just paid my big blind, I'm just going to leave because I want to focus on this one table to give you guys the best commentary that I can. If I try to commentate on 2 tables at once without you seeing the visuals, screw that. That's just a losing proposition, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, I can see out of my window here a salesman's approaching the door, so you might hear the doorbell ring, but I'm going to be nice and quiet so he just walks away. There's the doorbell. I'm not going to be super quiet. So right now in the small blind, 5-7 offsuit, under the gun, tight aggressive player, 15-9 player is timing down. Let's see what he does. In my big blind, if it gets folded around to me, I'm probably not going to open with my 5-7 offsuit. It's a bottom 10-12% hand or so against a super loose passive 24-4 player. He does fold. Oh, he folds big blind to the small blind open 100% of the time. Only 1 out of 1 instance. So let's just give it a shot. See what happens. See if he does it again. He could be the kind of guy that I only have 51 hands on him. Darn, he called. 6-6 queen came on the flop. I have 5-7, so I have completely nothing. So far, this guy has only folded to c-bets 33% of the time. He has position on me because I'm in the small, he's in the big. So forget about it. Just going to check and probably give up right here. Actually, more so than probably. Unless I hit a free turn 7, I'm giving up. He bet $1.50, which is a little over pot on the queen 6-6, so I'm folding. Now, one of the things that I always look for is, you know, how passive or how aggressive my opponents are. Now, this guy, his name is Jim. He is super passive with the 26-4 stats. And when super passive guys, pre-flop passive guys, when they decide to get aggressive and start betting post-flop, I normally give them the benefit of the doubt. They only like raising pre-flop with the goods. Most likely they only like raising post-flop with the goods as well. Oh, and our friend that I had position on that I just got in with my pocket aces versus his king 10, he decided to exit the table. We got Bet Stops. Bets Tops is the next player. I'm just going to call him Bets. So Bets is in. I have position on him. The name isn't familiar. I don't know if I have any stats on the guy, but we'll see. So I've got 6-7 offsuit in the cutoff right now versus a loose aggressive player's open. So I am going to fold. Darn. See, this is one of the dangers. I wouldn't say danger. This is one of the things that happens, and what I do as I play, you know, I'm constantly looking for the best tables to play. I've got Jack 4 offsuit under the gun. Going to fold that. So I look for the best tables to play, right? And as you're looking through the lobbies, you start recognizing names, and you know, oh, this table's got 2 fish on it. This table has all regs. I'm going to stay away from it, right? Well, this table, when I started the session 55 hands ago, it had 4 fish and 1 tight aggressive player. Within this past 55 hands, the tight aggressive player left. This loose aggressive Palkin, that's his name. He's currently, I guess he was currently in the small blind. He came in, and then another fishy guy left, and then we got Oleg, who's a loose aggressive guy, came in. And then now the guy that I just beat, I can't remember his name, he was super loose passive as 44-6 or 46-4, whatever I said. He just left, and Bets came in this place. And so that's what often happens at these kinds of tables, is that they start off beautiful, and then the other regs see it, they swoop in on it, they put their names on the wait list, and they get in there as soon as other players start leaving. So that's just something to be aware of. Good tables can turn bad quickly. Now, I'm not going to say that this table is bad. I've got a tight aggressive player. When I'm on the button, 2 to my left, tight aggressive guy named Shakedown. He's a 17-8, folds a lot to steals. That's good. The guy to my direct left, loose passive, 26-4. That's great. And the guy to my right so far is an unknown. Don't know exactly. And the other 2 at the table, well, they're loose aggressive, but they're kind of a distance away from me. So it's easier for me to avoid hands that they're already in, or really avoid spots where they'll have position on me. If they were directly to my left, I would probably leave this table, but I've got 2 pretty decent players to my left, so it's worth playing. Alrighty, in the big blind, I have 10-4 offsuit. Already, this is an automatic fold against anybody who opens. You know, some players will pick and choose. For example, actually, none of these guys fold a lot to c-bets, looking around at the stats at the table right here. And of course, my stats, you know, compliments of my Smart HUD, my poker tracker 4 Smart HUD. I have the fold to 3-bet, the 3-bet, VPIP, PFR, all the good stats on him, and I'll talk about him as we go. But Palcan, a loose aggressive player, he decided to open in the cutoff. I'm not going to do anything with my 10-4 offsuit. It's not worth. I mean, if I get called, if I get 4 bets automatic fold. If I get called, what am I going to do? I'm going to be out of position with a 10-4 offsuit. Crap hand, really hard to make money. Basically, with a 10-4 offsuit against this player, the only way I'm going to make money is if I hit the flop hard. And how hard does a 10-4 often hit? So I'm folding. But one interesting thing right here is that Palcan, because he's so loose aggressive, he only has a c-bet at 25%. So if I'm in position against the guy, I could call something pre-flop with the idea that, hey, if he checks to me on the flop, I'm going to take it away with a bet. That's a possibility. I only have 58 hands on the guy, so it's a slight possibility. Oleg just opened in the cutoff. I have ace-8 offsuit. Now, ace-8 suited, I would have probably just called right there. Seeing as how the big blind is so passive, he's going to call as well. Ace-8 offsuit isn't worth the call in my book. You're missing one great way, you know, flush draws and hitting the flush. With the ace-8 off, you're missing those for the flop, and so it's just not worth. Let's see here, 7-9 suited, folded around to me. I am going to open. This is a standard open for me on the button. But you can see right here, 7-9 suited. And by right here, I'm talking about my cash pre-flop ranges on the screen in front of you for all of you watching. Now, Icarus versus the Sun. I know the name, but I don't know offhand what kind of a player he is. He just checked me on an ace-king-4. I'm going to rep the ace and just c-bet right here. I don't know anything. I don't have the stats on the guy. I don't have any other tables open where I could look at those stats. This is his very first hand. He's in the big blind. So I'm throwing out the c-bet and seeing what happens. He decided to call on the ace-king-4-jack. I don't have any stats, and like I'd said before, if I just don't know anything about the guy, if he's an unknown or his stats aren't popping up because it's the first hand, I don't do the double barrel. And the jack can't be a really scare card for him. If he wanted to call the ace-king double diamonds, the jack of clubs doesn't scare him too much, you know. It actually gives him a few 2 pairs, ace-jack, king-jack, also fills a straight queen-4. So I'm just going to check behind. So I've got 7-9 on an ace-king-4-jack 7 board. Now, I have 4th pair, crappy kicker. He is timing down right now. The pot is $3.44, and he overbets at $5. So, well, what did he have this time? Did he flop a set and just slow played it? Did he call me with pocket 4s and flop a set of 4s? Did he call with ace-4 and flop 2 pair and just slow played it? You know, he's overbetting now. Means he has it. I'm just folding. It's 4th pair anyway. I mean, I would probably even fold a jack right there if I had queen-jack or 10-jack or something for 3rd pair. You know. Now, top pair or 2nd pair with an ace or a king right there, I probably would have played it a bit differently on the turn. I would have continued on the turn, and that would have given me a better idea of how I can approach the river, assuming he did that same kind of thing again. Now, I have ace-3 offsuit in the cutoff. You can see on the thing right here, ace-8 is my worst offsuit ace to open in the cutoff. So ace-3 offsuit, just folding. Now on the screen you can see I have an Excel worksheet up here. My focus for today is making 2/3 pot-sized bets post-flop, and also I'm really concentrating on my blind play. I'm looking at a lot of the blind stats that these guys have right here popping up. This is my steal pop-up, which gives a lot of the steal stats for the cut off the button, small blind, and big blind position. In my steal pop-up, because it's commentary, you know, I've got the steal percentage, steal and fold to a 3-bet, fold to steal, call steal, 3-bet versus steal, big blind fold versus small blind steal, and I also have the in position c-bet, out of position c-bet, and then in position fold to c-bet, and out of position fold to c-bet. They're all the stats that help me steal, help me be a better stealer, I guess I should say. Now, bets right here, under the gun, comes in for 80 cents, which is a little bit over 3x, and I've only got 5 hands on the guy. Don't know what to make of this bet just yet. He had to have obviously typed in 0.8 instead of just using his little rolling thing and click it up twice to 3 big blinds. So don't know why he did that. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of hand, if we see showdown, what kind of hand he has. He got 3-bet by the loose aggressive small blind. He's loose aggressive pre-flop 29-25, but so far after 61 hands his 3-bet is a 0. This is the first time he's 3-bet that I've seen him 3-bet out of 13 instances where he had the opportunity. So I'm really interested to see what happens here. Bets made it over 3x. And now he's timing down 80 cents, and he called the $2.35 with the 80 cents out there. So the pot is 471. The flop comes ace 10 for rainbow. So Palcan, he does throw out the exact half pot C bet right here, just repping the ace, probably even has an ace, ace king, ace queen, because it was a 3-bet. He might even have kings or queens. Now this is the kind of thing I often do, and he got a call. Bets called him right here. So now it's a $9 pot, 36 big blind pot. Turn comes a 10, so the board is ace 10 10 4. Now he's making a little bit over a half pot bet, $4.83 at 917. So let's see what we make of this. Bet stops. Just call him bets. He's timing down again, and he makes the call. So I'm thinking he has an ace, or queens or jacks. He doesn't have 9s or 8s. The board is ace 10 10 8 4. Oh, he had queen 10, trip 10s. Wow. And then Palcan had the ace king for the top pair, top kicker. So he 3-bet with the ace king, and bets right here. Very interesting. Queen 10 offsuit. I'm going to make a note, and I'll say my note right here. My note says cash, UTG, folding the deuce 9 off. Cash, UTG, 3 BB plus, open, call. I'm folding the king 3 off. Open, call. No. Call in position with queen 10 off suit. Okay, so under the gun, 3-bet, 3 big blind plus, so a little bit over 3 big blinds. He opened and called in position with queen 10 offsuit. Now that's a gutsy player. Holy cow, that jerk. He doubled up and just left the table right here. Man, what a shame. Now I am going to open with the ace 3 offsuit on the button versus Palcan, the guy that just lost. Now, if I hit this flop hard, it's possible that Palcan will decide to, donk off his stack. Flop comes ace 6 7. I've got the top pair with aces with the crap kicker. I'm going to make that what I talked about earlier, 2/3 pot bet. And the reason why that is my focus, making 2/3 pot bets right here. Oops, let me bring the table back up. The reason why that's my focus is because I have found through just paying attention to my bet sizings and through doing hand history reviews that lately I've gotten into a very bad habit of telegraphing my hand strength with bet sizings. I would click the half pot button with my maybe I was on some kind of a draw and c-betting my draw or c-betting my whiffs. I would be doing half pot. And if I wanted to bet bigger because I liked my hand, I would be making 2/3 pot bets. And because I noticed that, I realized that, hey, other people with a lot of hands on me, probably not any of these guys at this table. I've got King Jack offsuit under the gun. Let's take a look at early position. King Jack offsuit is not in my under the gun range right here. So I am going to fold the King Jack offsuit because I do have a few loose aggressive players after me. Actually, I got 3 loose aggressive players now at my table. 1 passive fish to my direct left, and Ejo is to my right, brand new player playing with a 40 big blind stack. So possibly a very weak player. Or he could be aggressive and just one of those short stackers who wants to double up and get out of there. I don't know. But now I'm in the big blind with pocket 4s. Way down Palcan, the loose aggressive guy that just doubled up the other guy with his ace king on the ace XXXXX board. Palcan just opened for his standard 62 cents. For whatever reason, that's his standard. I just don't get it. It's practically 2.5 big blinds, but he does that from every position regardless, and it makes it super cheap and easy for me to set mine with my pocket 4s right here. So I'm calling the 37 cents. I don't see any reason to 3-bet to try to bluff him off. I'd rather call, try to catch a set, and then play from there and try to earn some money from him, you know. But the flop comes 10 7 3 rainbow, so I completely whiff my set with my pocket 4s. Probably just going to check give up right here. If he lets me see a free 10, oh, the 6 comes off. I am just gonna let's see here. He normally c-bets 33% of the time. That means he doesn't like He didn't c-bet. His normal c-bet is 33% of the time. He didn't like the flop, even though he's in position. The 6 probably didn't help him at all. The board is 10, 7, 6, 3, and I have pocket 4s, so I have 4th pocket pair. But because he didn't c-bet the flop, I'm donk leading the turn, leading out at the turn, just trying to take it from him, making that turn stab. And it worked. He folded. Good. And that was a 2/3 pot stab, of course. I bet you 1/2 pot he could have seen as weakness and maybe raised to bluff me off. Or he could have called with some kind of a really weak draw, or like bottom pair, or ace high even he could have called with for that half pot. So that's another reason why I'm making those 2/3 pot bets, is because they're just harder for people to play against. Bigger bets just mean bigger bluffs if they don't have the goods. So right now, 75 cents with ace-9 suited versus a complete unknown. Now, in the blinds, ace-9 suited is a fold. I just don't play it. Against a loose guy, I will make a call, but I don't know anything about him. I don't want to go out of position play, post-flop with an ace-9 suited against somebody I just don't know squat about. So just give that up right there. Flop comes down ace-5-6, so I would have had top pair weak kicker against a fish, and then because the big blind called, so against the big blind fish and against Ejo, who I don't know squat about with position on both of us. So let's see, he bets $1, 2/3 pot. Oh, check raise by the fish on the ace-5-6 board. I'm assuming Ejo is going to fold because he's going to see this as an ace, and he opened in the steal position. He doesn't have an ace, most likely. We'll see what he does here, though. If he re-raises, he has an ace. And he folded. So he put Jim, the 27-5 player, he put him on an ace with that ace-high flop. And the check raise, of course. Let's see here. A loose aggressive player, a lag. Lag. Named Oleg came in for the raise, middle position. And Mr. Passive Jim calls again, 27-5 out of the small blind. That gives Sonic a chance to 3-bet squeeze here. Now, he 3-bets 13% total out of 156 hands. 3-bets quite a bit. Let's see what his squeeze percentage is. 0 out of 3 instances, no squeezes. And when he 3-bets, 11% in the small blind, 20% in the big blind. This guy likes to, but he didn't make it. He just made the call. So we got 3 to the flop on a Jack-9-7 rainbow board. Jim, the passive one, checks. Sonic, the big blind, who overcalled the raise, he checks as well on the Jack-9-7 board. Jack-9-7 does hit a lot of calling ranges pretty good. If you think about all the broadways and all the mid-pocket pairs and all the mid-suited connectors and offsuit connectors that can call, on a Jack-9-7, you have 7-8, 8-9, 7-9, 9-10, Jack-10, Jack-8 suited that can call. You have all the broadways too, King-Queen, King-Jack, King-10. They all flop some kind of a pair, some kind of a straight draw, like a gut shot or whatever it might be. Or they flop 2 overcards with a King-Queen with a gut shot and a 10. The turn comes, nobody bet the flop. The turn comes a king, so the board is King, Jack, 9-7. This hits just about every range that these 3 players can have, but he decides to donk lead for a little bit over half pot. Jim does, the passive player. Now, like I said, once again, he's a passive player, getting aggressive on the turn, taking a stab at the turn king. I'm thinking he has a king. Everyone else thought the same. They all folded. Okay, in the cutoff, I got a Jack-4 offsuit. I'm pre-clicking the fold button, so I don't have to think about it. I could just talk through it. Right now, we've got a couple of loose aggressive players. A guy bordering on donk play. I mean, he's 36-31. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the color of the stats right here. I color it orange. 36-31. When their stats get too high, just means they're way too aggressive, and that's donk status without a doubt, in my opinion. We've got 6-7 suited. I do like the open here. I do have Sonic, who does like to 3-bet. His 3-bets, I think, are in the cutoff and the blind so far. I bet he would 3-bet on the button if he had something good. 7-6 suited is a standard open for me in middle position. I love seeing flops with this. If I raise here and everyone folds, great, I'm fine with that. If I raise here and someone 3-bets and I have to fold, so be it. It's better than just folding it outright, I'd rather at least have the opportunity to take down the pot or to see the flop with a 7-6 suited. But Palcan, Mr. Donk at this table, 36-31, 3-bets 7%, which is actually only 1 out of 15 instances and it came out of the small blind. He's in the small blind now. I just don't have anything good enough to really counteract it. He bet a little bit over 75 cent, 3 big blinds. He made it 10 big blinds, and it's just not worth fighting against, even though I will be in position. No, actually, I will. He only c-bets 30% of the time, so let's see what happens. I'm going to call right here. And if he does not c-bet on the ace-jack-3 board, I am going to fire 2/3 pot, guaranteed. He can easily put me on an ace. The fact that I opened and then called, that is an ace-queen, an ace-jack, an ace-10, ace-jack-3 board. He decides to check. I'm firing the 2/3 pot bet at the $5 pot. And he folded right away. Wow, check folded real quick. So that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons why I use Poker Tracker 4 and the Smart HUD right there. If I didn't have that, I mean, I could have thought about it if I would pay attention to my opponents. If I didn't have the HUD, okay. If I didn't have the HUD, I wouldn't see these stats directly in front of me. So I'd have to really focus on my opponents and really pay attention how often I think they fold to c-bets, how often they make c-bets, how often they 3-bet, how often they fold a 3-bet. Having the HUD makes it so you don't have to think about that. Now, the fact that I have this HUD, that HUD just now made me $2.50, I think. Yeah. That was his 3-bet size. I called him, took the pot down. I made $2.50 because I saw that he is very flop honest. He c-bets only 27% of the time. So because he only c-bets when he hits the flop, as soon as he checks, and he's out of position. It's even more of an indication of weakness when he checks out of position. It's an easy flop fire there, just trying to take it away from him. So I called pre-flop with the intent to do exactly what I did, and it worked, baby. Okay, 7-10 suited on the button. I'm sorry, in the big blind, 7-10 suited. Jim, Mr. Passive, decides to open limp, so it's 25 cents. Oleg right now is most likely going to raise. He doesn't fold off into 3-bets. Now, if he folded more to 3-bets, oh wow, I get to see a free flop with 7-10 suited. Now, Jim is super passive. I am not going to throw out the bluff here. He's not going to limp fold, guaranteed. So 7-10 suited, Queen 8-3. I flop squadouche, Queen 8-3 rainbow. I don't even have a backdoor flush draw. Backdoor straight draw is all I got. With one undercard, Queen is on the board. I have a 10. This is just something I'm giving up, guaranteed. He bets $1.25, bets 2.5 times pot. I'm outie, clam chowdy. Forget it. Hey, got to see a free flop with 10-7 suited. Could have been beautiful. Could have flopped a good nutter, baby. On the 6-8-9 of hearts. Nut straight flush. He flops a weaker flush, and I take him for his stack. Could have happened, but didn't. Okay, this is great. So the loose aggressive Palkin in middle position calls. Dang it, it's not great. I'm sorry, he didn't call. He opened to 62 cents. That is interesting. Oleg, the loose aggressive player, 3-bets 11%, threw out the 3-bet. And then Ejo, the short stacker, he only has, 7 times 4, 28 big blinds. He shoves. 4-bet cold shove, 28 big blinds. Now let's see what Oleg does. He put out the 3x 3-bet at 9 big blinds. He called with ace-king offsuit. Ace-king offsuit by the big stack, and then pocket 6s for the shorty, and he turned to king, so he took it and knocked out the weak Ejo. I hope Ejo buys back in, because so far I like his play, being to my right, being a little bit aggressive and not so strong of a player, I would assume. If you're listening, Ejo, I don't apologize. That's just my assumption from the way you're playing. Yep. Which is totally fine. I mean, if you look at my stats right now, I'm a 23-18. I try to be loose aggressive, but a lot of these players will see me as, hey, this guy's a tight aggressive player. He only 3-bets 7%. And he throws out a lot of c-bets, they might say. I mean, who knows what stats they have on me exactly. So, I don't care what they say about me. They can think what they want. So that's why I wouldn't, I come up with an idea of what I think that other Ejo player is playing like. If he's completely different, if he's the best player in the world, great. He didn't act like it over those 8 hands, so, not going to apologize for making an assumption. Nope. Alrighty, so, looks like we're at 34 freaking minutes. Alrighty, I'm going to end this on the big blind. So I'm going to sit out big blind here. You can see some betting right here. I wasn't paying attention to the action as I was talking, so I apologize. Getting close to the end of the video without some good commentary. Jim just lost after betting with the top pair versus Sonic D Blast, better 2-pair hand that he had. All right, well, I'm sitting out because I had the big blind. One of the fish left, Oleg, an aggressive guy left. Maybe he was tired and fed up with it. Now, at this table, I could stay and I could keep playing, but I got 2 loose aggressive players, 1 fish to my left, and me. No one else is at the table. Who knows who's going to come in? It's just time to leave, time to end this recording anyway. So, everybody, thank you very much for watching this video. For the podcast, I'm going to come back and say a little bit more stuff. But for everyone on YouTube, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.